today I'm reviewing the Innisfree Blueberry Rebalancing Watery Sun Cream. And really quick, I just want to say I purchased all these products with my own money. So if you want to help keep the channel independent, check out my products at nobsbeauty.com or check out Teespring or click on the Amazon link below. So, welcome back to Sunscreen Week. I'm doing sunscreen reviews this week, and I've done a couple. And now I have to do one that I've really actually been using more often than not. And it's got blueberry in there, obviously. SPF, which is mineral, which is only titanium dioxide is what they're using in this formula. So a lot of times you'll see mineral ones with titanium and dioxide and zinc oxide. The fact that they're only using titanium dioxide means that it isn't totally blocking all the UVA rays, despite having a PA+++ rating. The more pluses, the better. I think it goes up to 4 or maybe 5. So the titanium dioxide can, for the most part, do a decent job. It just isn't getting every single thing out, every single ray that you want it to. So if you're going to spend a lot of time outside or outdoors, I'd recommend using something different. But if you're just having a light day, maybe running a couple errands, you're being indoors most of the time, this one is just fine in my opinion. You don't need to go over the top, but usually having something that blocks everything is more advantageous for you guys. So anyway, so I did want to point that out, that it only contains the titanium dioxide, which is probably why this one doesn't have a white cast at all. So zinc is usually the culprit from that. So just take it as it is. I mean, you don't need to go over the top every single day, but if you're going to be outside a lot, I'd recommend something else. What's a good one? I really like the Alta MD. This one does a good job, so I thought I'd recommend that. Or another good thing, or another good way to use it, use this one if you like, and then apply this powder as like a setting powder. This one has zinc oxide in it, so that will give you the boost that you need to definitely get all of the rays that you want to absorb. So anyway, I thought I should mention that. So always using layers is always good. Different products have different ingredients in there. Some have their strong points. Like this one is much more aesthetically pleasing. There's a lot of people that hate sunscreens and are willing to use this even though they normally wouldn't even use any sunscreen. So everything's got a strong point, and you know, something like this, in my opinion, just using this alone, I wouldn't recommend to do that. Just because, in my opinion, a powder can't get everything either, and it's hard to apply a powder liberally. So everything's got a good thing, and everything's got, you know, a downside. So there's a few things that are perfect out there. So anyway, so my first criteria is packaging, and they've done a nice job packaging this in a little squeeze tube. So, and it's opaque, so it does a good job protecting the beneficial ingredients from exposure to light and air. My second criteria is alcohol, and this does not contain any denatured or drying types of alcohol, so that is also a very good thing. My third criteria is fragrance, and this is the other main down point of this product. It does have a little bit of fragrance in it. For me, I barely notice it, if I notice it at all. But it does contain a little bit of a citrusy scent from lavender oil and orange oil, so not always the best. Thankfully, it's not super noticeable, so usually it's better to get sunscreens that are fragrance free, especially if it's a chemical sunscreen. This one isn't a chemical sunscreen, so it's not as huge of a deal, but some, you know, I try and avoid some of those oils, especially since some of them with the sun can cause issues like hyperpigmentation, things that you're trying to avoid by using a sunscreen. So anyway, I had to point that out. Thankfully, it's not super noticeable. My fourth criteria is the manufacturing location, and this is made in Korea, so no issues with that. Ease of use, very easy to use, applies super easily with, I'm having trouble with the bottle, super easily with no white cast. It definitely feels much more like a moisturizer than most other sunscreens do. I never had any issues with pilling. It seems to work well under foundation, which is nice. I would recommend using this in place of your normal moisturizer since it is pretty hydrating. Yeah, so if you use too many layers, it can be an issue. Personally, when I use this in place of the Protini because this is pretty hydrating on its own, and I really didn't need to use the Protini with this. So Ease of use, very easy to use, and you can see like there's absolutely no white cast at all. So that's a nice fact to it. My 6th criteria is antioxidants, and they've done a good job putting some good ingredients in here. Obviously, blueberries in the name, so blueberry extract is in here. Chia seed extract, the Centella asiatica, which is the Sika plant, is in here. Jojoba seed oil, sodium hyaluronate, squalane, and then fructooligosaccharides, which are prebiotics. So that's probably why the word rebalancing is in this. Prebiotics help the skin. So just like they are taking a prebiotic pill or eating yogurt, the same thing is true, and it helps your skin microbiome. Your skin has its own microbiome, so putting some of that in there definitely not going to hurt. And then it's prebiotics, so not probiotics. So let's see. My 7th criteria is animal testing, and unfortunately, Innisfree currently sells in China. There's a lot of websites discussing the Innisfree brand cruelty-free status, and it looks like they are still currently selling in China, which means they can't be cruelty-free as of right now. But things are definitely changing fast. So my 8th criteria is performance, and I think it performs nicely, very hydrating, provides a good amount of protection, although doesn't do those total rays, but it does give you a good protection. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the fact that they included the orange peel oil and the lavender peel oil, but that's why with this I'd recommend using a setting powder or maybe even just a foundation that contains a complement to that, so you can get full coverage. But otherwise, it's very aesthetically pleasing. It works very nicely on a day-to-day basis. Just don't rely on it if you're going to be outdoors all day. That's my recommendation. My 9th criteria is the price, and this is the full size, which is 40 milliliters. And it sells for about $11. They're sold at so many different places, but overall, the consensus was it's about $11. So not a bad deal. It's not a huge bottle, obviously, but it doesn't break the bank to buy a backup for it. So that's nice. And then my 10th criteria is the it factor. Obviously, I have 2 major concerns with it. The little bit of fragrance they included and the fact that it's only titanium dioxide. Those are my main concerns. Had they changed that a little bit, I probably would have given it the it factor. But I get it. Overall, it's a very good product. It's not perfect. Very few products are, so there's not a lot of 10 out of 10s. And this one is not a 10 out of 10, but it's a 7 out of 10, which is still pretty good. Definitely better than no sunscreen at all, that's for sure. And even better if you layer it with some good foundation or one of the powder products like I mentioned before. So pretty good one, and definitely a cult favorite in the K-Beauty brand. Anyway, I'm interested if you guys have a chance to try this sunscreen out. And if you have what your thoughts are on it, or if you have another favorite K-Beauty sunscreen, what is it? So definitely leave a comment. Stay tuned for more sunscreen tomorrow for Sunscreen Week. I'm going to definitely do this every year now, especially when summer's coming, to hopefully help you guys try and find a sunscreen that works for you. So stay tuned for that. I will see you tomorrow, and thank you guys so much.